It's Wednesday, May 31st, 2023. I want to start today's video by thanking someone who is a listener of the show. He wrote a book called America's Last War. Hopefully that's focusing. Matthew Marcellus. He sent me this book a couple weeks ago. We just started reading this book. I want to thank Matthew for this book. If you are interested, it's a fictional book, but it has a lot of stories that are very similar to current and past events that have taken place and are taking place right now here in America. America's Last War. Matthew, thank you for sending me this. You can find this on Amazon. I don't make a dime. Matthew is a listener, a subscriber, and was nice enough to send me this book, no charge. And we just began reading this, and not even a quarter way into this book. I'm going to give it a recommendation. Check it out on Amazon, America's Last War. Thank you, Matthew Marcellus. Again, I don't make a dime. If you're interested, check it out, order it. You might really find it very, very interesting. And again, it's broken down in kind of a storybook type of writing that relates very much to some of the current events taking place right now as far as what's happening with the military, AI, robotics, just this divide that we're seeing taking place in America. So you might find it very, very interesting. So check it out. But without further ado, let's get into what's happening right now. Markets currently open. Markets across the board are down slightly right now. Everybody on pins and needles with getting this debt ceiling resolved. And no matter what side of the aisle you're on, right or left, personally, I just think that this is not going to be beneficial for America. I think it's going to be extremely costly financially, and I think it's a bad deal for everybody, period. No matter if you're right, left, whatever side you're on, I just don't see how this is going to benefit the average American. Let me know your thoughts on that if you've been following this. This debt ceiling hike, is it going to benefit America? I don't think it is. I think it's going to cause a lot more inflation. I think there's going to be a lot of people at the very, very top that get a lot wealthier, and a lot of people at the very bottom who are going to get a lot more poor. And I think it's going to really destroy even more of the middle class, on top of the destruction we've already seen of the middle class. Today on the hedge, Chicago PMI unexpectedly plummets, longest contraction streak since Lehman. More bad news. It just shocks me that the markets are not absolutely collapsing right now, but they're in hope of another $4 trillion being injected, more money printing. Chicago PMI plunged in May from 48.6 to 40.4. That is the 9th straight month below 50. Here's another one from the hedge. Texas Services Sector Survey signals 12th straight month of contraction. More bad news. You look at what's happening to so many small businesses across America, and now they are telling you right now, expect another rate hike this coming June. It's going to be another 25 basis points. And look, it's going to affect everybody. Every time you use that credit card, anytime you need to go out and buy a car, a truck, a house, another 25 basis points is going to guarantee that you're going to pay more money when you need to borrow money. And for a small business, a medium business, any business, everything revolves around credit, right? From the farmer to the truck driver to the store to the person purchasing those items, everything revolves around credit, and the cost to borrow money is continuing to go up. So what does that mean? Well, it's going to cost more to buy something, goods and services. Prices are going to go up. They're going to continue to go up, and they're going to continue to push rates up, and they're going to hold rates higher for longer. And it was just a few weeks ago, they were telling us that, oh, it's literally a guarantee that the Fed is going to pause in June. They're not going to raise in June. They're going to pause. And, you know, probably by the end of this summer, they're going to reverse course and start cutting rates. Not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I don't see it. Look, I could be wrong. Comment down below. Am I wrong? What do you think? Many of you think the same thing. Many of you think they're going to continue to raise rates. I mean, you almost have to think, is the Fed purposely going to destroy the economy? Is this a slow kill? It's very, very possible. A lot of people think the Fed is their friend, that the Fed is going to look out for these markets, the Fed's going to look out for the middle class, the Fed's going to look out for you. Or is the Fed purposely going to really burn this thing down? Don't really know, but right now what I see is that the Fed is going to raise rates again in June. They're going to raise rates at least probably 2 more times after June. They're going to hold rates higher for longer. And if they really are being honest about getting back to 2% inflation, they're going to have to raise rates a whole lot more. And this is going to be catastrophic for a lot of businesses out there who got very used to very cheap money. You had very poorly run companies that shouldn't even be in business right now, but they are in business right now because of all this cheap money. Zombie companies all over Wall Street that shouldn't even exist right now, but they exist because of all the cheap money. This is about to change. Here's one that I found interesting today. I want to share with you also from the hedge. Central banks are buying gold at a record pace. What does this mean for inflation? This has no direct impact on inflation. The record pace of gold buying is a result of U.S. measures to weaponize the dollar. The U.S. can confiscate any country's dollars anytime it wants right now, and the world knows it, and this is why the world is going to continue to drop dollars. The world is buying gold. While most people here don't have any idea what I'm talking about, they're going to baseball games, they're going to basketball games, they're watching Netflix, they're playing video games, they're living in La La Land. The rest of the world sees exactly what is going on, and the world is about to change, ladies and gentlemen. And people who think that their little world here in the U.S. isn't going to change, they're very, very naive, because it is going to change whether they like it or not. Weaponizing the dollar is a serious mistake, and it's a Rubicon that cannot be undone. This, it says, will eventually cause a currency crisis. Now, when this happens, it's anyone's guess. But I think at this point now, it's irreversible. The world has watched what took place with the weaponization of the dollar when we did this to Russia. And it's not to be political. We're just talking economics here. We're talking about the U.S. dollar and how it's being used and how we've really abused our power and weaponized the dollar. If you don't play ball with us, this is what we're going to do. We're going to shut you down. We're going to take your dollars. We'll confiscate your dollars. We won't let you use your dollars. And the world knows that if they have a conflict or a disagreement with the U.S., they're next. And they've watched the wars over the decades. They see the 1,000+ military bases built all over the world. And the world is done. They see America as the world police, as a bully, and it is going to unplug the U.S. now from the global financial system, because we're going to see new currencies. We're going to see currencies backed by gold, at least partially, and we're going to see the world run to these currencies, because the world too, I mean, when you just look at what's going on here, do you think the world trusts America? Do you think the world has faith in America? Do you think they like the direction America is going in? Do you think they like the leadership? Do you think they like the weaponization of the dollar? Do you think they like the wars? No, no. They're looking, the world is looking for leadership. They're looking for a strong currency. They're looking for something that can't be manipulated like the dollar, something that can't just be shut off. And so this is why it's all going to change. And this, I do believe, is mainly why we're seeing such a run to gold. And this is going to cause inflation, because the dollar is going to lose purchasing power. Those dollars that are sitting out across the globe with other countries, they're going to eventually come back. They're coming back now, but eventually it's going to accelerate, and more dollars will come back, and you're going to have more and more dollars here. And that means you're going to see more inflation. You're going to see a currency crisis here in America, because there's going to be too many dollars floating around coming back from across the globe. Nobody's going to want them. People are losing faith in them. And then what happens when Americans lose faith in their own currency? Then you have even bigger trouble. This is why I'm so adamant about holding gold. I don't care if you hold gold and silver. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter where you buy it from. That's completely up to you. You can invest all your money into cryptos. You can invest it all in the stock market. You can buy bonds. You can do whatever you want to do. Go buy real estate. You can do whatever you want. Everybody has free will. I'm just sitting here today, as I normally do, sharing with you my thoughts, my strategies, my goals, and how I see it playing out. And I would love to hear from you. I could be completely wrong. Please comment down below. Let me know how you see it. If you agree, disagree, where you're putting your money right now. Do you think that the US dollar is going to be the world reserve currency 10 years from now? Do you think gold's going to be gone 10 years from now? What do you think? I think gold has just begun. Gold and silver are not going anywhere. And I think that the cream always rises to the top. And when people are done with the weaponization, when they're done with the manipulation, when they completely lose faith in this fiat currency, and they're looking to something that is real, not just digits on a screen, not something that has to be plugged into a computer, something that they can actually hold and touch and feel, and something with a 5,000-year history, then it's gold. And you have to ask yourself, why are central banks stockpiling this stuff at a record pace? What do they know that the average American doesn't? Why does China hold 20,000 tons of physical gold? And why do their citizens hold 18,000 tons of physical gold? Ask yourself that. And again, why are the central banks stockpiling this stuff? So, you know, me personally, I'm going to continue to do what the central banks are doing. I'm going to act as my own central bank. And I think that everybody has to do what they think is the right thing for them to do in their situation. For me, I'm going to hold gold. I'm still going to hold some cash. Definitely looking at real estate. Things are overpriced right now, but when I see a good opportunity, a nice property on sale, I'm buying it. So those are my thoughts on that. Another one from the hedge. U.S. job openings unexpectedly soar above highest estimate, even as number of quits tumble. Job openings are up 358,000 in April. They're saying that there are 10.1 million job openings in America. So I guess if you include assembling widgets, making coffees, handing out towels at the resorts, a lot of these minimum wage jobs, then maybe there are 10 million jobs. Do you believe there are 10 million jobs out there? What type of jobs are they if there are 10.1 million jobs? I continue to see a lot of vacancies. I continue to see businesses closing. I'm looking at the data daily, and there are thousands of layoffs every day. Weekly, you look at the jobless claims, and there's 220,000 plus jobless claims every week. So the question I have to ask all of you is this data real? Are these job numbers real? Are there 10.1 million job openings? And if there are 10 million job openings, what kind of jobs are they? Are these all mainly minimum wage jobs, low paying jobs? Probably. But that is if this number is even true of 10.1 million jobs. The thing today is the data that we're getting is very, very questionable. So when we look at thousands of people getting laid off daily, we look at jobless claims every week, well over 200,000. And you know, you take the jobless claims every month, it's over 1 million people filing jobless claims every month. And yet they're telling us about all these jobs. Yet we have 60-70% of this country living paycheck to paycheck, household debt at an all-time high, credit card debt all-time high, 20 million households can't pay their utility bills, yet we have over 10 million job openings. And then we have $1.7 trillion in student loan debt. If this is all true, why aren't these people taking on one of these 10.1 million jobs and paying off their student loan debt? I don't know, but let's talk about this. The hedge today, the great student loan non-payment boondoggle is over and household spending is about to collapse. This after a 3-year emergency pause. You know, this almost infuriates me that people don't have to pay their bills, that they signed on the dotted line, borrowed this money, promised to pay it back, and then don't. We still have people in Los Angeles County who have not paid rent, still living in the rental properties, that have not paid rent in 3 years. There are people who are not making their truck or car payments because their bank has basically given them a forbearance because the bank doesn't want to take these vehicles back. And so we've watched, the mortgage forbearance, vehicle forbearance, student loan forbearance, rent forbearance, all this. And some of it is still going on today. How bad are things really right now? See, the data is not accurate because we still have people not paying their bills. And they're not being penalized by this. And so how do we really know how bad it is when people don't have to pay their bills? We don't know. All these government programs that boosted personal income, $2.3 trillion roughly, from March 20th to December 2022. Direct payments to bank accounts, child tax credits. We had an expanded earned income tax credit. People were given all this free money. People didn't have to pay their bills. There's still people today not having to pay their bills. Student loan debt, renters in LA County, individuals that are in forbearance on their vehicles right now because the banks don't want to take these vehicles back. We don't even realize how bad it is right now. But we're going to, as soon as these people have to begin paying their bills. And it looks like starting June 30th, this is going to end for this student loan deferment. Payments resume September 1st, 2023. Over $1 trillion has been in forbearance. There's $1.7 trillion of student loan debt out there. Over $1 trillion has been in forbearance. Nobody's been paying on. And this is definitely going to have an impact on the economy because people are going to have to start paying their bills. Eventually, I would assume that these people in LA County are going to have to start paying their rent. I would assume at some point, some of these banks are going to say, hey, we've given you enough time. We need you to pay on your pickup truck or your car. Otherwise, we're going to repo it, which they're doing right now. The bankruptcy caravan is now arriving. Time to pay for the easy money. It says here, how did you go bankrupt? Well, gradually, then suddenly. Going to be a lot of people going bankrupt, and there's going to be a lot of businesses going bankrupt. Artificially low interest rates have kept the inefficient and incompetent in business. And it says here, now the jig is up. We're going to see a record number of bankruptcies in corporate America. And you can thank the Fed for this because they created it. The Fed kept rates too low for too long, allowed all these companies to borrow all this cheap money. And this is why we have zombie companies. This is why we have incompetent and inefficient businesses running right now because of all this cheap money. And now the Fed is raising rates and the money ain't so cheap. And now these companies, Wall Street are crying. They want cheap money. They want that $4 trillion to pump back into the market. And they want rates to come way, way down. They want the Fed to reverse course. They want rates to go back to zero. I don't think that's going to happen. Again, the Fed may not be your friend. The Fed now may purposely burn this whole thing to the ground. The Fed created this mess, and now the Fed may burn this whole mess to the ground. I don't know. It's really complicated, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think anybody has the answer. But I don't see things getting better. I don't see rate cuts coming anytime soon. I don't see inflation going away. I don't see prices coming down. I don't see well-paying jobs coming back to America. I don't see housing. I don't see the housing boom continuing. Home prices now are beginning to come down. Sales are plunging. Mortgage rates are going up. The amount of qualified buyers that can actually afford to buy a home today and qualify is shrinking. So this tells you and I that this economy is going to be in for a whirlwind here, that this economy is collapsing. In fact, I think we could probably argue that the economy has already collapsed. I would say it's already collapsed. We could argue that the US dollar has already collapsed. Middle class is collapsing right before our very eyes. So as I leave you today, prepare. Many of you, it's too late out there. Many people have already lost their jobs. They've used up any savings that they have. They've tapped into their retirements already. They're living on credit cards. These people are in big trouble. They're in very big trouble. And these are the people that you better worry about when the lights go out. These are the people you better worry about when we really sink into a depression. These are the people you better worry about when they come knocking at your door, because these people are going to be the most unprepared and the most hungry and the most dangerous, and they're going to be the most difficult to deal with. Something to think about. So make sure that your security is in order. That is number one next to God. Next to God, your number one asset, ladies and gentlemen, is security, security, security. So make sure you have your house in order with that. And, you know, keep doing what you're doing. Keep stacking cash, stacking metals, stacking food, water, walking close to God. We are far from being out of the woods, ladies and gentlemen. I would imagine, I would expect the market to rally once we get this debt ceiling agreement in writing, but it is going to be very short-lived because it's going to put a lot of pressure on people, especially the poor and the middle class. It is going to cause more inflation. It is going to be a problem. I don't think that this is going to benefit most of the country. It's going to benefit the people at the very, very top. It's going to benefit the very big banks. It's going to benefit politicians. It's going to benefit military and war. But I don't think it's going to benefit you and I. In fact, it's probably going to cause more problems for you and I, because it's going to cause more inflation, higher taxation, more job cuts. Comment down below, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think about all this. It is a very, very troubling time in our history. And I've never seen this country in so much turmoil. I've never seen the economy this bad. I've never seen people so asleep, so out of shape, so uninterested in what's happening. And again, these are going to be the people who suffer the most, and these will be the people knocking at your door. Make sure you have security. Make sure that you're prepared to deal with this the best that you can, because already for millions of people, it's too late. And many of these people are going to find out very, very quickly that they are unprepared for what they're about to deal with. God bless you. Thanks for watching. Please like this video, subscribe, hit the bell notification down below. And as always, I look forward to speaking with each and every one of you. None of this is possible. This is not possible without you. I want to thank every one of you. Matthew Marcellus, thank you for sending me this book. So far, it's been very, very interesting. And again, you can check it out on Amazon. Nobody sends me a dime for that. That's just me thanking Matthew for the book. And maybe you might find it interesting too. But God bless every one of you. Thanks again. Thanks for the prayers. Thanks for all the letters, all the support. I couldn't do this without you. God bless. Have a great day.